Morning. If you guys have been on social media lately, or you've been scrolling YouTube, you've seen the headlines. TDIU is ending at 67. The VA is going to be cutting your disability rating due to your medication and how it makes you feel. Means testing possibly coming back in 2026. You know, all of that sounds terrible, I'll be honest with you. And I understand why a lot of people make the videos on it, gets a lot of views. But I'm not here to try to make things out to be a disaster. I want everybody to understand there's a major difference between a proposal or what's written in an OMB for budget management for the government and what is actually a law or what's actually been passed in the House. So we're going to go through those. I'm actually going to look at some actual websites. We're going to go through the documents. We're going to go through the OMB. We're going to take a look at these. And if you're new here, I appreciate you showing up. Welcome to the channel. I like to make videos. I try not to make clickbait videos. I try to just make sure we go over what's true, what's fact, and what is actually on the books. And if that's something you like, you know that's something I like. And we both like that because we both know that. All right, now that we're here on the desktop, let's go ahead and start with the whole TDIU at 67 aspect. The people that are creating these videos are getting this from the Congressional Budget Office. A lot of it's known as OMB. You might have heard of it. And it's always for options for reducing the deficit. And I want you to look at the dates here because this is important later as I scroll down, just to kind of help you get an understanding of why these don't matter as much as you may think they do, or the videos may scare you into thinking. So let's just read this. Periodically, you know, the CBO periodically is going to issue a compendium. Oh, Lord, that's a big word. What does that mean? Compendium just means it's a collection of summary of ideas of how to fix something or make it more financially stable, or what can be cut, what needs to stay, and so on. So they periodically issue a compendium of policy options and their estimated effects on the federal budget. This report presents 76 options for altering spending or revenues to reduce the federal budget deficits over the next decade. Now, that's important. What the TDIU aspect is, that's just one aspect of this. And here's why I wanted you to pay attention to the dates before. As we scroll down, you're going to see that this is related to other publications. And I want you to understand that all of these points, well, I don't want to say all of them, but I would say probably 70 to 80% of them were always in these proposals going back years. I'm talking 2021, 2022, 2024, and even prior to that. So I want to get into the actual document and let's just kind of go over it and read kind of what it says. So we're going to switch over here. We actually went to the link. If I went too fast, I actually clicked the document here that you can see. And then I searched and found where it was talking about ending the VA's unemployability payments to disabled veterans at the full retirement age of Social Security. Now, this just kind of shows what the budget would look like if they did that, how much total they would save at a particular time in history or in the future. But this is where the videos are getting their information from. And this is why it's scary to a lot of veterans. So I'm just going to read it so you understand where they're getting their information from. And it starts down here in the blue. It says, this option consists of two alternatives. Under the first, VA would stop making IU payments to veterans age 67 or older, the full retirement age for Social Security benefits for those born after 1959. That restriction would apply to both current and prospective recipients. When a veteran reaches the age of 67, all VA disability payments would revert to the amount associated with the rated disability level. Veterans age 67 or older who were already receiving IU payments, that's the big one, would no longer receive them after the effective date of the option. if this ever got put into place. Just remember that. Under the second alternative or option that they're proposing, the veteran who began receiving the IU supplement after December 2025 would no longer receive those payments once they reached age 67. And no new applicants age 67 or older would be eligible for the IU benefits after that date. Why am I telling you this and why am I showing you this? It's not to scare you. I'm showing you this because these are the documents that these videos are being made and produced off of, when I just showed you that this is just a proposal. Let's go back. These are options for reducing the deficit. These have been in the budgets going back for years and years and years. Nothing's being done. Nothing's been signed into law. And if they wanted to change any of this, they would literally have to rewrite the CFR 38. I believe that's the one we're talking about here that encompasses VA disability and a lot of the restrictions in it. So that's this. And I hope you understand that you're not losing your TDIU. Nothing has been done about it. You're not going to have to worry once you hit age 67. And I want to move now to one of the second ones. This is one that's been a big one. And we'll just go ahead and kind of click over here to it. This is that CFR, the 38 CFR 4.10. This is the medication is going to take away or decrease your disability. And the videos that you got and you're seeing from this is because they actually did at one point put this in effect. And the line that got most people's attention is right here. And I'll unclick it so we can read it. If medication or treatment lowers the level of disability, the rating or new rating will be based on that lowered disability level. AKA, this one got me when it first came out. I take a lot of different medications. I have some depressive disorders that I deal with and some anxiety. And I literally, after seeing this, told my wife, I was like, well, hell, I guess I'm going to have to stop taking my medicine and go back to being paranoid, because if I continue to take my medication and they review me, I'm going to lose my damn rating. And I didn't want that to happen. But thankfully, even though this got put into play, we were saved by our VA secretary. So I want to move on and read what he had to say. The VA, according to Doug Collins, formally rescinded the controversial disability rating rule. And this is according to Military Times. And we'll kind of read why this is important. The regulation that would have required Veterans Affairs medical examiners to include the effects of medication in assigning disability ratings is expected to be rescinded formally on February 27th. So if you're seeing this video, they've already rescinded that. It's not going to take effect. But there's a couple of key notes just to put in there. And I'll read you what Doug Collins said about it first. The VA always takes veterans' concerns seriously, and we recognize that many comments construed the interim final ruling as something that could result in adverse consequences. Now, I find it funny that they say it could have, because it would have. And this would have been something that would have lit the VA on fire as it did. So we're going to keep going down, because there's another thing I wanted to point out here, which was pointed out by one of the congressmen or congresswoman, I believe she is, maybe in the House, I'm not sure. She basically said, as a former Navy nurse, it seems this crucial rule change could have unforeseen and harmful downstream effects for veterans, which is why it demands serious public scrutiny and possible legislative clarification from Capitol Hill. The VFW National Commander, Carol Whitmore, which is who we're talking about, said in a statement shortly after that the rule was published, while VA has authority to amend the rating schedule, It must not do so without adversely affecting veterans. Collins announced 2 days after the publication that the rule would not be enforced, but the kicker is it remains on the books. This is what's raising concerns amongst veterans, and this is why some lawsuits have started to be put in place. It says here at least one lawsuit was filed against the VA seeking to stop the implementation. And Tuesday, 20 Democrats and independent lawmakers from the House and the Senate wrote Collins asking the rule to be revoked. So, good news. Rules revoked. We don't have to worry about it. Is it something that went into effect? Yes, it did. Is it something that was immediately overturned or rescinded? Yes, it was. What do we have to worry about now? Keep contacting your congressman. Keep adding comments if you can, because it's still on the books, which means all they got to do is flip a switch and they can turn this right back on. So now we're going to get into some of the, that's the two main ones that I've been seeing videos about. But now I want to talk about something that is a good change that has went through the House, that has made its way through the process and is going to help veterans. And the one I'm talking about is the committee passes the Amada co-sponsored Veterans Benefit Expansion Bill. And I'm just going to read this to you here and we're going to go over it. And I kind of put together a word sheet, so hopefully we understand how it'll work money-wise. But let's just get into it. On February 12th, 2026, the Washington, D.C. Congresswoman, I'm just going to say Amada, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the other name, the Vice Chairman of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, HVAC, is an original co-sponsor of legislation introduced in December. The Sharri, Briley, and Eric Edmundson's Veterans Benefit Expansion Act, HR 6047. On Thursday, the committee passed the bill, so that's good. This is something that's actually passed, along with 4 other veteran bills to increase and improve services for consideration by a full House of Representatives. And I wanted to point out why I think this legislation is very beneficial. This legislation would increase the Department of Veterans Affairs VA monthly compensation benefit for service-connected, catastrophically disabled veterans and the surviving families of 100% disabled or deceased veterans. This tax-free benefit, meant to financially support the loved ones for the loss of their disabled veteran, has not been increased in decades. And this is what they're trying to set out to do. So a lot of this is just filler information. We're going to go down here and I want to look at what this would actually do for you. HR 6047 would increase VA's dependency and indemnity compensation, DIC benefit, which currently provides $1,650 per month. For the next 5 years, this bill would increase DIC by an additional 1% each year on top of inflation, or the adjusted COLA, as you could call it, helping over 500,000 families with their living expenses. Now, I understand some of that might not make a lot of sense to you, and I'm going to go over, let me just pull up the Word document real quick. So let's go over what this would mean for you. If DIC applies to you, what does 1% each year on top of inflation mean? This is the important part. Normally now, DIC increases each year only by inflation. You know, we call that the COLA or the cost of living adjustment. This bill would increase it by inflation plus an extra 1% every year for 5 years once passed. So what does that look like? Here's what the numbers could or would look like. let's assume inflation, let's just say next year, is 3% as an example. Instead of a 3% increase, it would be a 3% increase plus the 1% extra boost for a total of 4% increase. Now, why is this important? We'll keep going down. It's important because this is year to year for 5 years. So let's use an example starting with the 1650 that's currently in place. If total increase is 4% based on the example we just gave, year one would go to then 1716. Year two would then go to 1785. Year three, 1856. Year four, 1930. And year five, 2007. After 5 years, the payment would be about $357 more per month than today. And that's just giving you an example of how that breakdown would actually work once this bill goes into effect. So I hope that helps you understand it a little more. We'll get back to the actual site now. So let's just continue reading. This bill would also significantly raise the monthly benefit rate for catastrophic service-connected disabled veterans with a traumatic brain injury or other severe disabilities that require regular, round-the-clock, in-home medical care. So if you need at home, around-the-clock, in-home constant medical care, this bill is going to add an additional $10,000 annually. And this would be the first significant increase for this cohort of veterans in decades. So that is actually something that is true. And it is something that's most likely coming. It's in the House. It's past the first steps. It's going on to the next steps. And I hope now that you understand that we do have some good things coming down the pipe, but don't be scared of all the things from all the click videos that are trying to scare you about the TDIUs or the ratings being decreased due to medications, because I just showed you where they're getting that information from and how it's technically not true, and we don't need to be worrying about it. I was worrying about it. I don't want you to worry about it. And with that said, that's all for today. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you've made it this far to the end, tell everybody about it. Help me grow the channel, trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. And until next time, guys, later.